Hey, what's good, family? This is Ryan Jackson from Ryan Jackson LLC. Hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful day. Today is Monday. Hope the work day has went well for you. For most of you, you're at the pretty much at the end of your day, your work day that it is. Some of you may be starting, but I hope and pray to Allah that you have a blessed and wonderful day, and may He, see you through your journey to work or coming home. May you be safe. Getting into the topic for this video. Yesterday was the 2024 Women's National Championship game. The NCAA Women's National Championship game was in Cleveland, and the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks won 87-75, defeating the Iowa Lady Hawkeyes. We know the Iowa Hawkeyes has the great Caitlin Clark. Let me see. She is a great player. Let me just say that she is a great player, but she's not the GOAT. She is not the GOAT. But I'm gonna get into that here in a few seconds. In any event, congrats to the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. Congrats to Coach Don Staley and those young ladies on that squad. Y'all did y'all thing, and kudos to you. So, congrats to South Carolina Lady Gamecocks and Coach Don Staley. Y'all did it. Y'all went undefeated from start to finish. Congrats. That in itself is history, and I don't think that's talked about enough because it's all about Caitlin Clark, who in a few seconds I'm gonna get into that too. But we just have to give these ladies their flowers. Give Coach Don Staley her flowers. Give the Lady Gamecocks their flowers. They did not lose not one game, not nan game, from start to finish. That's a hell of an accomplishment. I think the last men's team to do that was it the 76 Indiana Hoosiers? I think they were the last team to do it as with the men's. On the men's side was the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers. I believe it was them. Bobby Knight won his second championship with Indiana. They beat my Michigan Wolverines in the NCAA title game back in '76. Um, that team had Kent Benson. What's his name? Mike Woodson. That team. Was Mike Woodson on that team? I know Kent Benson was. Oh, and I forgot. Quinn Buckner. Quinn Buckner. I know Quinn Buckner, Kent Benson. I don't know if Mike Woodson was on there yet. I think he may have came the year after. But in any event, they were the last team to do it. On the men's side, if I'm not mistaken, were the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers. So, congrats to the Lady Gamecocks again. Congrats to Coach Don Staley. Congrats. I'm gonna give y'all flowers. Y'all deserve them. Great season. Kudos to you. My hats off to y'all. With that being said, um, yeah, this whole thing with Caitlin Clark, again, great player, one of the greatest, one of the greatest to lace them up in women's college basketball, but she's not the GOAT. She is not the GOAT. Nowhere near the GOAT. Because you have players like Dawn Staley, Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Shamika Holslaw, um, oh my God, Cheryl Miller, Maya Moore, Sue Bird, man, wow. Diana Taurasi, You had so many great women players throughout the years, but Caitlin Clark is better than all of them? Are you freaking kidding me right now? She's better than Cheryl Miller, Angel Reese. Oh, who, by the way, won last year. But we don't talk about that. How many championships has Caitlin Clark won? Riddle me that. I'll wait. Bueller, give up. 0 for 2. She lost to LSU in 2023, and she lost to South Carolina just yesterday. The GOAT, the quote unquote greatest women's college basketball player ever, the GOAT, is 0 2. I don't give a damn that she's the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball history. That's great. That's excellent. That's good. That's nice. But the young lady hasn't won jack shit. She hasn't won any championships. You can't be considered the GOAT if you haven't won. Bill Russell, as far as I'm concerned, is the GOAT, is the greatest of all time in NBA history. The man has 11 championships. Well, he didn't score 25 points or 30 points. Do y'all know that basketball is more than just scoring? Bill Russell changed the game. Rebounding, block shots. He was an excellent passer. The man averaged double digit. I think he averaged 15 and a half, 16 points. Anyone out there listening can correct me on that. But I think he averaged between 15 and 16 points. And like he averaged 5. He won 2 champions. He won on every level. The man won in high school at McClemens High School out here in Oakland. I think he was a 2-time champion there. Was a 2-time champion across the bridge over here at the University of San Francisco. Then he won a gold medal in the 1956 Olympics in Melbourne, Australia. Then he went on to win 11 championships with the Boston Celtics. You get what I'm saying? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won at UCLA. Hell, he won in high school at Power Memorial in Manhattan. He won at UCLA. He won a championship, his first one, with the Milwaukee Bucks in 1971. Then he went on to win 5 more with the LA Lakers, the great Showtime Lakers. Michael Jordan, believe he won at Laney High School in Wilmington, North Carolina. He won a championship at the University of North Carolina in 1983. Went on to win 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls. Won 3 straight, retired, came back, won 3 straight. Won 6. So MJ is considered among the GOATs. Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace. Didn't go to college. I think he won in high school. I think he won championships in high school at Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania. I believe he won there. But we know he won 5 championships with the Lakers. So, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, MJ, Kobe Bryant. That's my Mount Rushmore of NBA greats. They won. Let me see. 11 plus 6. 11 plus Kareem has 6. MJ has 6. Kobe has 5. That's 17, if I'm not mistaken. 12 plus 5 is 17. Plus Bill Russell's 11. That's a total of 28 championships. 28 championships between 4 players. That's a lot of damn championships, y'all. That's a lot. I'm just saying. And Jason Whitlock, this dude, Jason Fatlock, Whitlock, whatever. Some things I agree with him on. Some things I agree with him on. However, I would not agree with him on this Caitlin Clark issue. He said that she's among the greats, like with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I couldn't disagree more. That is disrespectful to MJ and and the late great Kobe Bryant. You elevate her to that status. This chick hasn't won shit. Yeah, she's the greatest scorer in women's college basketball history. She's going to be the number one draft pick in the WNBA draft, but she hasn't won nothing. What good is it if she leaves college basketball 0 for 2? She hasn't won anything, bruh. Nothing. Angel Reese won last year, but when she was talking about the stuff that she had to endure over the last year, she was made fun of, ridiculed. And I expect that from white people in media, but from black men in media, Jason Whitlock, Emmanuel Echo, whatever the hell his name is, that tap dancing goofball, Sambo ass nigga, Emmanuel Echo, whatever, however you say his name, and Jason Whitlock. The Malcolm said this decades ago. The most disrespectful person in America is the black woman. We see it with Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, Shakari Richardson, Angel Reese. If you good and you know it and you're confident, you need to stay in your place. You're too boastful. You're too arrogant. Stay in your place, nigga. Stay in your place, nigga, female. I'm not gonna say the B word on here. Stay in your place. If you have a breakdown or you're emotional, then you're ridiculed. You need to toughen up. What's wrong with you? You're weak. You're crazy. If you Serena Williams, you look like a man. But Caitlyn Jenner is a woman? Really? You have a woman, Serena Williams, she works out. She plays tennis for God's sakes. The woman, the woman is a physical specimen. She works out, but she looks feminine. But Caitlin Clark, or I'm sorry, not Caitlin Clark, forgive me, Caitlyn Jenner, better known as Bruce Jenner, is a woman. That's a female. Caitlyn Jenner is a female, but Serena Williams is a male. Looks like a man. These people are twisted and wicked and just evil. They're twisted, wicked, and evil. And Allah's judgment will come down hard upon them. Hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications on the videos on here. These people are utterly disgusting. A black woman looks like a man. There's nothing manly about Serena Williams. Nothing at all. She's all feminine. Femininity. She takes care of her body, but she's considered a man. She's manlike. But Caitlyn Jenner is a female. Still has a penis and balls and testicles, but is a female. Right. Gotcha. But back to this Caitlin Clark. Again, white America, the media, loves to overhype the white athlete. When a white athlete does something well, is a great player, they elevate them to the status of GOAT. When I say GOAT, I'm talking about greatest of all time. They elevate them to the status of like a sports sainthood. I've seen him do it with Roger Clemens in the 80s. He's the greatest pitcher ever. But Doc Gooden won the World Series against Roger Clemens and those Boston Red Sox in 86. And I loved every minute of it. He is so great. Roger Clemens is so great, so great. But Doc Gooden was a better pitcher, excuse me, was a better pitcher, much better than Roger Clemens. John Elway, I remember coming up, so great. John Elway, so great. The man didn't win a Super Bowl toward the end of his career. John Elway is great, great, great. Oh, the great John Elway. Yes, he took the Denver Broncos to Super Bowls, but he lost. He lost. He was 0 for 3. He lost to the Giants, lost to the Redskins, and lost to the 49ers. It wasn't until the late 90s when he beat Atlanta and Green Bay. Well, Green Bay first, then Atlanta, that, now we could put him up there with Joe Montana. But by that time, he was 37, 38 years old. But he's so great. Doug Williams outplayed him big time in Super Bowl 22. Outplayed him so much so. That was my favorite moment in sports history. My favorite moment in sports was Super Bowl 22, was when Doug Williams just utterly destroyed those Denver Broncos and John Elway, a black quarterback, was MVP of the damn Super Bowl over y'all great John Elway. I loved every bit of it. I loved it when Magic and the Showtime Lakers would beat Larry Bird and the Celtics. I loved it. Larry Bird was so great. Larry Bird was a great player, no doubt. But white America just elevated him to goathood. And Magic beat him. Magic beat him. Yes, he did. Beat him 3 times. Oh, I'm sorry. Did he beat him 80? Nope. He beat him 85 and 87. And Bird only beat him once. And that was in 84. Once. Magic 2, Bird 1. Luka Doncic. Now, he's so great. Luka. He hasn't been to the NBA Finals. And he's not going to the NBA Finals this year. Dallas going to make a nice playoff run, probably the second round. But Luka not winning the championship this year. How many championships does he have? Has he even sniffed the finals? and Kyrie Irving is carrying them. Yeah, no, he got the step back three, the crossover step back three. That's nice, but the boy don't play no defense, all offense. The great Luka Doncic, he's so great. He's so great. They love to elevate the white athlete to GOAT status and the sainthood. And it's just so disgusting. But what's even more disgusting is when black people sit up here and and um and go for that. They justify it. When you have black people who justify it more so than white people. It's like, really? Really? Like with in hip hop. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago with Dr. Dre. Eminem's the greatest rapper of all time. But Dre worked with Ice Cube, he worked with Nas, he worked with Cos, been around Rakim, you got KRS-One, you got the brothers in the Wu-Tang Clan, but Eminem is the greatest out of all. Dre, you worked with Tupac, but Eminem is the greatest out of all of them. This is that BS. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. When a white person does something well or good, they're elevated to the greatest to ever do it. The greatest to ever do it. The greatest to ever do it. Elvis stole from Little Richard, Chuck Berry, but he's the greatest entertainer, the greatest rock and roll, the greatest rock and roll singer. Not Little Richard, not Chuck Berry, but Elvis. Really? It never fails. The Beatles were a great group, no doubt. The Beatles were great, but the Temptations was doing that before the Beatles were even thought of. Way before the Beatles. The Beatles actually borrowed from them. They were fans of the Temptations. The Beatles was fans of Motown. They were fans of the blues. Paul McCartney said it. He said it himself in interviews. We used to listen to the Temptations, the blues in Liverpool, England. They copied Motown. Yes, they did. The dance moves, everything. But do they get credit for it? Do the Temptations? Do they get credit for it? Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. The Beatles borrowed from them too. Do they get credit for it? No. The Beatles. The Beatles. Yes, they always need a great white hope. And like I mentioned, in the 80s, it was three athletes in the 80s. Roger Clemens, Larry Bird, John Elway. Roger Clemens, Larry Bird, John Elway. Two of them were in the same city, the city of Boston, which is a whitewashed city and the most racist city in the United States of America. How fitting, how convenient that white America's two favorite darling athletes resided in the city of Boston, what many consider the most racist city, the most racist major city in the United States, Boston, Massachusetts. Larry Bird with the 1980 Celtics, who they were a great team, one of the greatest teams in NBA history. Outwitnessed them. Outwitnessed those Celtics teams are Bird, McHale, and Parrish. Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge. I witnessed those teams. The great KC Jones, who don't get enough credit um, as coach of those Celtics teams, who was a Celtics legend himself. He played with Bill Russell. He was a guard, point guard. But growing up, we hated the Boston Celtics. They were what white supremacy was. We saw them as white supremacy. All mostly white team. You had three well, two starters. The late great Dennis Johnson, who was the point guard, and then you had the great Robert Parrish playing center. He was in the middle. And you had a black man coaching them. But other than that, the whole team was lily white. Lily white. White, white, white. Every time the Lakers, Sixers, Pistons would go to Boston Garden, the old Boston Garden, not where they're playing now, the old Boston Garden with that ugly floor, the whole crowd was nothing but white people, racist ass white people. The Boston Celtics had an announcer, Johnny Most, had a raspy voice like this. He sounded like this when he talked. Johnny Most, he passed on years ago, but I just remember those Boston Celtics teams as being lily white. You go across the way to Fenway Park, which the Red Sox still play there, and I hate the Boston Red Sox. They are my most hated team in baseball. I hate the Boston Red Sox. I hate the Boston Celtics. I don't like the New England Patriots. I don't follow hockey like that. I follow my Red Wings, but I could care less about the Boston Bruins. But I have disdain for the Boston Red Sox. I hated Roger Clemens. You go to Fenway Park, all you saw was white, 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 white at Fenway Park. This was before they had the bleacher seats out in outfield. They had the Green Monster. It was just the Green Monster, didn't have the seats. I hated the Boston Red Sox, still do. I was so glad when Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden defeated them in '86 in the World Series. John Elway, Denver. They played at the old Mile High Stadium. White, white. John Elway, so great. John Elway, so great, so great, so great. This clown was 0 for 3 in Super Bowls until 1997. 0 for 3. He lost to the Giants in '86. He lost to the Redskins in '87. He got blown out by the 49ers in '89. But he's so great though, right? Like I said earlier in this video, he didn't win his first Super Bowl until he was 37 years of age, at the tail end of his career. And guess who won those Super Bowls for him? Terrell Davis, TD, the running back. Terrell Davis. If it wasn't for Terrell Davis, John Elway would have never, ever, ever won a Super Bowl. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Am I right or am I absolutely right? If it wasn't for Terrell Davis, John Elway would not have won a damn Super Bowl. He would not have won back-to-back Super Bowls. So stop it with all these, just because a white man does something great, stop elevating him to the GOAT status, to sainthood. I'm mainly talking about black people. White people gonna do it. That's what they do. We can't get mad at them. That's what they do. I can't blame them. They need a white hope or a white hype. That's what they need. But when black people sit up here and justify it more so than white people, I have a problem with that. Especially when you have witnessed black people who have been the greatest at said um, sport or music genre, then yeah, then you're delusional and you're part of the problem. So stop it with that. Stop it. Again, congrats to the Lady Gamecocks. Congrats to South Carolina on beating Iowa. Congrats. I was rooting for y'all. And it's more talk about Caitlin Clark than it is about South Carolina going undefeated from the first game to the championship game. They did not lose not one game. They exacted their revenge on Iowa because I think Iowa beat them in the Final Four last year, or was it the Elite Eight in 2023? Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone put it in the chat. I believe it was. I think it was the Elite Eight or the. It may have been the Elite Eight or the Final Four. But anyway, Iowa beat them in the tournament last year in 2023, and Iowa went on to the national championship game and lost to LSU, Angel Reese. And this year, Iowa exacted their revenge on LSU in the Elite Eight, which was last Monday. The GOAT, Caitlin Clark, had what, 40, 41 points, I think. So they exacted their revenge on the defending champs. It went on to the Elite Eight. They actually, they should have lost to UConn in the Final Four. They called some bogus calls in that Final Four game with UConn and Iowa, and we know why they did it because they wanted Caitlin Clark, their darling, to make it back to the national championship game. But guess what? It wasn't so because she lost for a second straight year. Second straight year. Bye. 0 for 2. So, she still y'all GOAT? Whatever. God bless y'all. Y'all don't know better. And people with black people, far too many of us fall for this media hype. We fall for it. If the media says something is great, then yeah, the media says it's great, then it's great. Massa Bossa Media said it's great. They says a Caitlin Clark is the greatest ever, and I agree. She is the greatest ever. Y'all sound like Foghorn Leghorn. I say, son, I say a son. Yeah, she is a great. That Caitlin Clark, she is a great boy. You bet y'all better recognize she the greatest to ever do it. She greater than all the other women college basketball players. Massa says she is, so she is. John Elway, the greatest quarterback ever. He better than Warren Moon and John Elway. Him's the greatest ever. Him's the greatest ever. That John Elway is the greatest ever. Massa said he is. That Roger Clemens, he the greatest pitcher ever. He greater than Satchel Paige and Doc Gooden, and he's the greatest ever, boy. You better recognize, boy. That Luka Doncic, he better than Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. He the best ever. He the best ever, boy. Larry Bird, he the greatest ever. It's crazy. It's asinine. Barstool Sports says she's the greatest. It's a white publication. Of course they're gonna say that shit. You expect them to say it, but how many championships has she won? She's one of many great athletes in college history. One of many. I will give Caitlin Clark that. She's one of many. She's zero. And people say, well, she brought eyes to the sport. Um, no, not so fast. Angel Reese did that. The 1996 women's Olympic team did that. Hell, they were on Martin. Y'all remember the episode of Martin with Don Staley, Rebecca Lobo, with Lisa Leslie, when they won the gold medal at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta? They brought eyes to college basketball, to women's college basketball, not Caitlin Clark. Don Staley was great. Yeah, Eric Gordon, that's right. Them sisters, them women, they brought eyes to college basketball. We can't just say Caitlin Clark is the girl. Oh, she the stop it. Swing Cash. She played for the Detroit Shock before they folded and moved to Oklahoma City. Swing Cash. I think she played at Connecticut. What about Candace Parker? Can't forget about that sister. But Caitlin Clark is better than them. Swing Cash, Candace Parker, Tamika Holslaw, Lisa Leslie, Dawn Staley, Rebecca Lobo. In my opinion, the young white girl that played for UConn, Paige Beckers, I think she better than Caitlin Clark. I know she had injury issues. I understand that. But Paige Beckers is better than Caitlin Clark as far as I'm concerned. And who was that young lady that locked her down that was on um South Carolina? That young lady locked her down and she got away with a lot of calls. Yes, she did. They would try to help her out. But Caitlin Clark didn't have any help. 30 points. No one on Iowa did anything. She had no help. And that's all Iowa was Caitlin Clark. Like LSU had Angel Reese and they had that Flo J. Johnson. Is that her? Is that the young lady's name? She should have been guarding Caitlin Clark because that young lady is a great defender. Yeah, she's very, very attractive. They should have had her on Caitlin Clark when LSU played Iowa, but they had the other white girl on there, and Caitlin Clark just torched her. But the young lady on South Carolina, she was on her helmet. Yes, she was. And the young lady, I think Flo J. Johnson, I think that's her name, on LSU. That young lady could ball. Great defender. But Caitlin Clark is the GOAT. She's the greatest ever lace them up as far as men's and women's basketball. Foolish, foolishness, foolishness. And black people who justify this, y'all need to cut it out. Y'all need to cut that shit out for real. All right, I'm gonna hop off of here for now. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Please have a blessed and wonderful day. Brothers as well as sisters, be safe. Beware and be aware. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy now more than ever before. My sister-in-law had an incident well, the week before last, where some guys were following her. She was on her way to our home. Some guys were following her. She proceeded through the light to come to our home. They made their left turn, but she said she noticed sparks flying from behind her car. Thankfully, she did not get out and investigate, and she didn't have to stop at the light. But last Monday, right in front of my apartment complex, in front of our building, her passenger side window was busted out. They tried to rip out the steering wheel and they did something where she couldn't even start her vehicle. So now she had to get her vehicle towed because she couldn't drive it. She has to replace her window, replace what they did to the steering wheel, and her deductible is gonna go up. Welcome to the United States of California. Not just here, but it's going on all over the country. And she has a Kia. And from what my wife told me, Kias are sought after vehicles out here in California, not just here, but around the country. It's so bad out here in California that they're starting to carjack people at stoplights. A lady got carjacked just a few days ago. So, again, I say be safe, brothers as well as sisters. Be safe. I believe the people who did this to my sister-in-law's car, I believe they were the ones that were following her. They probably drove around the neighborhood, cased her car, was casing her car, found it, and did this. because ever since then, no cars have been broken into. And that's the first time that's happened here in this neighborhood that I live in. The very first time that's happened. So again, I say be safe, brothers as well as sisters. Be safe. Beware and be aware. If something don't look right, proceed with caution. We have to recognize imminent threats. You cannot be stuck in the phone zone, out in la la land, oblivious to what's going on around you. Please be safe. Support the podcast, support this YouTube channel. I need y'all love and support. Our brother can't do it without y'all. So please continue to support your brother. Please continue to support. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. Share this video. Share it, share it, share it. Let's start the conversation. If we don't agree, please, let's disagree without being disagreeable. Let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable, even on this. But please use logic, not emotion and disrespect. Use logic and respect, not emotion and disrespect in our disagreement. Do that for me, please. So next time, y'all take care. I love you much, and I'm out. Assalamu alaikum.